Welcome to 5 Minutes with Phil. It doesn't happen with everything, but my opinion about certain things has been known to suddenly flip from being on one side to the other. Often, the stronger my beliefs are, the more violent and drastic this flip is. It's almost a relief when I do, as I am suddenly able to reap the rewards that a changed opinion can bring about. I used to have a Google Pixel XL. I got it secondhand for an excellent price and had a good 3 years out of that phone. It was big, it was fast, and it did everything I wanted from a smartphone. But the star feature was its camera. When I first got it, I remember I was stuck with just that phone on holiday, expecting my record of that holiday to be a poorly documented and washed out affair. But the pictures that phone could take were consistently stunning. This all came down to its HDR. The Pixel phones all work miracles with this, making dark bits brighter and the lighter bits dimmer so that you get wonderfully vivid pictures without the sky being washed out and stuff like that. My proper camera can take better pictures if given enough time and effort, but the Pixel would always produce an image that I was happy with, and with so little hassle, I often found myself using that instead of bothering with the trouble of having to edit a RAW file from my proper camera. The Google Pixel XL finally died on me. I left it charging overnight a few too many times, and its battery life became so bad that it could barely even load the camera app up before its battery failed. For some reason, you can't just replace the batteries, and third-party companies that I went to said that the phone was water damaged and so wouldn't dare touch the thing. Hopefully someday they invent replaceable batteries for phones. I instead had to go about with it plugged into an external power pack for a while, and it was a pain in the ass, often quite literally. So last year I decided to get a new phone. But which to get? I guess I just kind of wanted the Pixel XL again, but with a good battery life and for not much money. The iPhone SE was actually very appealing to me since you get a lot of phone for your money, but I'm yet to flip on my belief about Apple being overly controlling with its products and software. My sight then turned to the Pixel 3a, given its equally decent camera and affordable price point. But that had been out for almost a year. I hated the idea that I could have had it a year sooner and avoided the whole battery hassle I was having, so I thought I'd at least reward myself for waiting by waiting for the Pixel 4a instead. Big mistake, that thing didn't come out for ages. I waited and I waited, and when it was finally released in America, I read every review I could of it as I was waiting for it to come to England. I was obsessed. Phone reviews became my go-to browsing entertainment. I knew everything there was to know about the 4a. I couldn't wait to try its intelligent zoom or improved night sight, or to be able to leave the house without a battery pack in my buttocks. But then, my attitude on phones suddenly flipped. Having battled with a 2-minute battery life for about 6 months, I began fantasizing about a phone that could last a long time. I started looking up 4,000 mAh batteries, then 5,000. Then I went a bit silly and considered ridiculous sizes like 15,000, by which point they're more like battery packs masquerading as phones. A brick with the screen attached, a bomb waiting to blow. I quite liked the idea of the Pixel 4a's modern but slower processor since it seemed like a great combination to squeeze more battery life out of the machine. But I didn't like Google's premium pricing for what should be a much cheaper phone. The OnePlus Nord seemed like a great compromise. On paper, it looks like everything you'd need from a phone. But in my head, I saw it all as a compromise. It didn't have the biggest battery, nor the fastest processor, nor the best camera either. I wouldn't have had any major regrets about using that phone, but there wouldn't have been any aspect where it would have particularly excelled either. Then, after months and months of waiting, I impulse bought an Asus ROG Phone 3 for about £450. Its Snapdragon 865 processor was pretty much the fastest thing out. It came with an excellent large screen, great speakers, and most importantly, a massive 6,000 mAh battery. And I haven't regretted getting this phone at all. It's designed for gaming, which is something I never intend to use it for. It's garishly decorated, so I cover it up in protective casing. I hide its gaming apps and interface away, and I'm left with a super fast phone with lots of features and a massive battery. I love being able to go several days between charges, starting a day on 30%, knowing it will comfortably last until the end. It's never been charged beyond 80% because it doesn't need to be. The option's there if I need it. The phone is admittedly big and heavy. If I use it one-handed, then it's almost big enough to fall out of my hand. The funny thing? After all that time I spent wanting a phone with a great camera, I ended up getting a phone where its camera is its weakest feature. Okay, the wide angle is practical, the macro is a fun little gimmick that I've used more than I expected to. But the normal camera, while it's okay in low light or for general clarity, it thinks I want gamer levels of saturation and often produces garish looking images. This picture hasn't been edited. This is what the phone does to pictures. Disgusting. It's something that Pixel never did. I could trust that phone to produce a result that I didn't feel needed editing. In terms of strengths and weaknesses, the ROG Phone 3 is almost the exact opposite of a Pixel 4a. My girlfriend later got a Pixel 5G, which is the one up from the 4a, so I know what I've been missing out on. But I can't say I've been that impressed with it. I trust Google to deliver on the software side of things, but they skimp so heavily on the hardware that I just look at that phone as being not a lot of phone for your money. And since we've been in lockdown, its camera has barely seen the light of day. So I've been very happy with my completely unexpected phone purchase. But looking to the future, I wonder what my next phone will be like. Will it be more like the ROG phone or the Pixel? It's dangerous to change your opinion, especially online. People see it as a sign of weakness, or as you admitting you were wrong. But in reality, change is good and is part of a healthy cycle. You get tired of one thing and want something fresh and different. But I don't know if I'd have enjoyed the new phone as much if I hadn't put up with the old one being so bad and for so long. I'm going to make a habit of limping along with old hardware for longer than I should, since I'm sure it makes that eventual upgrade all the sweeter.